Once upon a time, in the ancient city of Ur, there lived a man named Abram. He was a descendant of Shem, one of Noah's sons, and he lived among a people who worshipped many gods. However, in the midst of this polytheistic society, Abram felt a calling from a higher power. One day, as Abram was going about his daily routine, he heard a voice calling out to him. It was the voice of God, who spoke to Abram and said, "Leave your country, your people, and your father's household and go to the land I will show you. I will make you into a great nation, and I will bless you. I will make your name great, and you will be a blessing." Abram was taken aback by this divine encounter but felt an undeniable pull to follow God's instructions. Without hesitation, he gathered his wife Sarai, his nephew Lot, and all their possessions, and set out on a journey to an unknown land. Abram's faith in God's guidance was unwavering, and he trusted that this journey would lead to something extraordinary. As they traveled through various lands, Abram faced numerous challenges. They encountered famine in the land of Canaan and were forced to seek refuge in Egypt. In Egypt, Abram's beautiful wife Sarai caught the attention of Pharaoh, who desired her for himself. Fearing for his life, Abram told Pharaoh that Sarai was his sister, not his wife. This deception brought wealth and favor upon Abram, but it also caused great turmoil. God, however, protected Sarai and revealed the truth to Pharaoh through a series of plagues. Realizing his mistake, Pharaoh sent Abram and Sarai away but not before returning all the wealth he had bestowed upon them. This incident served as a lesson for Abram in the importance of honesty and trust in God's provision. As Abram continued his journey, his wealth and livestock increased, and he and Lot found themselves with too many possessions to share the same land. To avoid conflict, Abram graciously offered Lot first choice of the land they had acquired. Lot chose the fertile plains of Jordan, leaving Abram with the less desirable land. But God reassured Abram, saying, "Look around from where you are, to the north and south, to the east and west. All the land that you see I will give to you and your offspring forever." Abram trusted in God's promise, knowing that his plans were greater than any earthly possessions. Years passed, and Abram and Sarai remained childless. In their old age, they began to doubt whether God's promise of descendants would ever come to fruition. Sarai, desperate for a child, suggested that Abram take her servant Hagar as a wife so that they might have a child through her. Abram agreed, and Hagar bore him a son named Ishmael. However, this arrangement caused tension within the family. Sarai became jealous of Hagar and mistreated her, leading Hagar to flee into the wilderness. There, she encountered an angel who told her to return and submit to Sarai. The angel also promised that her son Ishmael would become the father of a great nation. 13 years later, when Abram was 99 years old, God appeared to him once again. This time, God made a covenant with Abram, changing his name to Abraham, which means, father of many nations. God promised Abraham that he would be the father of many descendants and that his wife Sarai would bear him a son, whom they were to name Isaac. Abraham fell on his face before God in awe and gratitude. He knew that this miraculous promise could only be fulfilled through divine intervention. In his old age, Abraham's faith was tested once more when God commanded him to circumcise himself and all the males in his household as a sign of their covenant. Years passed, and Abraham's faith in God's promise remained steadfast. Finally, when Abraham was 100 years old, Sarah gave birth to a son, just as God had foretold. They named him Isaac, which means laughter, for Sarah laughed with joy at the miracle of his birth. As Isaac grew, so did the bond between father and son. Abraham loved Isaac deeply and cherished him as the fulfillment of God's promise. But one day, God tested Abraham's faith in an unimaginable way. He called upon Abraham and said, "Take your son, your only son Isaac, whom you love, and go to the region of Moriah. Sacrifice him there as a burnt offering on a mountain I will show you." Abraham's heart sank at these words. How could God ask him to sacrifice his beloved son? Yet, despite the anguish in his soul, Abraham did not waver in his faith. Early the next morning, He set out with Isaac and 2 servants to the designated mountain. As they ascended the mountain, Isaac carried the wood for the sacrifice, unaware of his fate. Sensing something amiss, he asked his father, "Where is the lamb for the burnt offering?" Abraham, with tears in his eyes but unwavering trust in God, replied, "God himself will provide the lamb for the burnt offering, my son." When they reached the mountaintop, Abraham built an altar and prepared to sacrifice Isaac. Just as he raised the knife to fulfill God's command, an angel of the Lord called out to him, saying, "Do not lay a hand on the boy. Now I know that you fear God because you have not withheld from me your son, your only son." Abraham looked up and saw a ram caught in a thicket nearby. He took the ram and offered it as a sacrifice instead of Isaac. In that moment, Abraham's faith was affirmed, and God blessed him abundantly, saying, "I will surely bless you and make your descendants as numerous as the stars in the sky and as the sand on the seashore." Abraham's unwavering faith and obedience to God's command solidified his position as the father of faith. His story serves as a testament to the power of trust and devotion, even in the face of unimaginable challenges. Through his descendants, including the nation of Israel, Abraham's legacy lives on, reminding us of the enduring impact of one man's faith. Abraham's journey of faith teaches us that no matter how impossible a situation may seem, when we place our trust in God, He can turn our trials into triumphs. It is a story that continues to inspire and encourage people of all generations to embrace faith, resilience, and unwavering devotion to God.